But I am very happy to be here. This is a very important conference. Thank you, Malaysia Digital Association, for inviting and for organizing this event. I think this is important, and not only because today I'd like to share with you some statistics, some figures, just very top numbers. For example, we know right now the contribution of digital economy to Malaysia's GDP amounts to about 22.6%. And in line with our expectations for 2025 under RMK 12, and the terminus of RMK 12, we expect digital economy to contribute more than 25%. We expect it to reach 25.5% of GDP, which means the contribution of digital economy is practically equivalent to the entire contribution of the state of Selangor to Malaysia's economy. And this is a startling, if not mind-blowing, and an important fact to have in mind as we proceed with the event and conference today. Not least because it speaks of the many fundamental changes happening in our economy. It has definitely affected the way we think about work. What more with some of the attendant issues related with digital technology. For example, we will be seeing greater use and adoption of 5G. I mentioned very recently that towards the end of this month, we believe there should be some good news from the telecommunications companies with regards to their participation in 5G. There's some telcos that have not yet rolled out 5G, so those of you who don't yet have it, you can ask your telcos why haven't they signed on to the access agreement. But at the same time, it's also about enabling greater section of the specific industries that could take advantage of high-speed, low-latency data transfer. And this is important when we think through about some of the important changes happening across industry with Internet of Things, for example, big data, machine learning, and this can only be made possible with, for example, 5G private networks. And this is an important element of the rollout of 5G in Malaysia. At the same time, when we look at, for example, some changes in trends among consumers. I see Dr. Zaini and friends from Omnia, Media Prima. One of the biggest challenges facing media, what we understand to be traditional, conventional media today, is that the market is no longer traditional nor conventional. Most of readers now think very little in terms of print. Even if we talk about digital, which part of digital are they at? Where is our audience? Where are the consumers? Where is the market? And as a result, there's a lot of disruption in terms of the way we think about media, about work, about reaching out to consumers. And how is it that the economy, this part of the economy, this industry, can remain sustainable? And this is an extension of some of the conversations that we've had with Media Prima and other media organizations with regards particularly to questions around advertising expenditure, a lifeblood of the media industry. Likewise, when we talk about other areas, even things like programming is severely disrupted when we think about what AI can do to reduce the process of writing code or programming just by providing the right prompts. Jobs like prompt engineers, something which is unheard of months ago, will probably be de rigueur, will probably be standard in the months to come. Technologist Mahathir and I just returned from a very successful outing at London Tech Week, and it inspired us to look at what's happening in Malaysia and reflect on a number of issues, not least with regards to how technology is being disrupted today. Technology itself, which used to be seen as a disruptor, is being disrupted today. And are we as a nation, is Malaysia and its government ready and prepared to harness the potential of these changes and disruptions in digital technology today? I believe we are. And in fact, some of the soundings, some of the answers that you may have heard either through media or in Parliament bodes well. I have, for example, spoken of amending the Personal Data Protection Act. This is a pivotal aspect of and a lifeblood, in fact, of digital economy. You cannot talk about digital without talking about data, and you can't have data without protected data, not least personal data. And a corollary to that, an adjunct or consequence of discussing data, we have to talk about cybersecurity. I don't know how many of your organizations have invested in sufficient cybersecurity for your information infrastructure. I don't know how many of your organizations actually have either data protection officers or CISOs or cybersecurity officers. Maybe for those of you, if I may ask boldly this morning, if I can see a show of hands, how many in your organization have data protection officers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Adalah, okay, yeah, there. And how many have dedicated, designated cybersecurity officer, a chief cybersecurity officer? Okay, it's not industry-wide. I think this is something which we must address. And not least because if we were to look at advanced economies, such as the EU, they have gone far ahead with the question of data protection, data sovereignty, data sharing, and have established GDPR. In ASEAN, we have not yet arrived at a common protocol with regards to data sharing. But this is something which this administration and my ministry are well attuned to. In fact, in February of this year, at an ASEAN Digital Ministers meeting, I discussed with my counterparts the necessity to start discussing data sharing and data protection protocols, an ASEAN-wide regime, not least to protect users from the scourge of scammers. And this is an important aspect. So it's one thing for you to build your business, to have a database, to know your market, understand your audience. It's a completely different thing to be held at ransom by threat actors who have inserted malware into your systems because someone somewhere forgot to change their password. So I do recommend that you give your organizations a pen test, perhaps speak to Cybersecurity Malaysia or any of the other leading cybersecurity organizations to make sure that your organization's infrastructure, data infrastructure, is safe and secure. Ladies and gentlemen, another important aspect is investment. We can't speak about digital economy without looking at where the money can come from. I mentioned that Technologies Mahathir and I just returned from London Tech Week. We announced an inflow of 8.3 billion ringgit in investments, not least of which is 7.1 billion ringgit data center that's coming to Johor. And this is a very exciting area for Malaysia, for the economy, as we see Malaysia becoming a preferred and a preferred destination for a lot of data center investment. But that's not enough. As Technologies Mahathir mentioned, we want to turn Malaysia into a digital hub, a regional hub for organizations, for tech companies, as their base of operations, to kickstart and perhaps to expand their operations throughout ASEAN at the very least. So if at one point we used to say the slogan for Malaysia, especially to the world, is Malaysia truly Asia, I propose a slight shift in that slogan. with regards to how this administration and this government wishes to see the role that digital economy can play, not only to a market of 34 million people, but at least an ASEAN economy of about 650 million people with gross a GDP of $3 trillion US. So I propose changing it to a slight shift to Malaysia through to Asia. This is a slight shift in terms of what we think Malaysia can do, what role it can play as a hub. I'd like to just speak about the reality of the shift in digital economy. Where we are today, this building, Nexus Connection at Bangsa South, 10 tahun dulu tak ada, 15 tahun dulu tak ada jalan nak tembus ke belakang. And 15 years ago, all around you were squatter houses, rumah panjang, flat 4 tingkat, and a lot of the B40 community. They still live in the area, just displaced slightly. And yet, today, right next door, we have some of the largest businesses that engage in digital technology and digital economy. Some of the largest e-commerce companies are based in Bangsa South. Some of the biggest e-wallet companies are right next door. And it is that shift, the last 10-15 years, which we believe will be accelerated, not in the next 10-15 years, but probably the next 10-15 months. Are we prepared as a nation to change along with it? To change our businesses, to change the way we think about our participation in digital economy? Are we future ready? Are we fit for future? As such, whether it's about cybersecurity, data protection, investments, this administration is prepared to be with you, to work alongside industry, to understand the challenges, the difficulties, as well as the opportunities. Which is why I've tasked MDEC with a very big role, which is to come up with a blueprint, a roadmap, so that if we get some of these fundamentals right, data protection, cybersecurity, infrastructure, this digital economic playground can untap a wealth of potential for Malaysia and Malaysians and turn Malaysia into an Asian digital tiger. At one point we were Asian tigers, but in this new future, we have to be ASEAN digital tiger. And if we're able to do that, if we get the right investments in the right places, and we ensure that its businesses have an easier time bringing in talent from abroad, whether they are returning Malaysians or expats who can help grow our digital economy, with the right incentives and the right policies in place, I believe we can unlock the path to a golden digital future for Malaysia, a golden digital decade. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the vision that I'd like to share with you this morning. And I hope as you discuss over the next 1-2 days and celebrate the awards, the work ahead is tremendous. The opportunities are mountainous. Only if we are prepared to shift slightly the way we think about our role, about markets, about technologies, we can realize a better future for Malaysia. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention. Terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Yang menghormatkan diri di sini on stage for the next item on the agenda, we'd like to invite Mr. Lee, accompanied by the CEO of MDEC on stage to present the token of appreciation and also to officially launch the inaugural D-Conference 2023. And so, as we, of course, forge our digital path, we'd like to invite the Honorable Menteri to please sign on our documents, a digital document, marking the launch of the very first D-Conference 2023. for officiating our conference today. Loving the vision of a golden era for digital Malaysia, working together and galvanizing with MNEC to become the digital hub of ASEAN. And I think that the time is right, the time is now. Disruption is everywhere, even in my own industry. I understand Fly FM has just produced their first AI DJ, which means in a few years I'll be out of a job as well. Media people, slow down, okay? Slow down. Thank you very much. I would like to invite our VIPs back to the for a second photo op, because we understand this is also the age of Wi-Fi's and selfies. So we'd like to invite all our guests to please stand up. Can I have the house lights on, please? Let's be a part of history together. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite all of you to stand up and take this picture together with everyone, Minister, the CEO of MNEC, and the President of the Malaysia Digital Association, together with all our guests. Let's make history together. A big round of applause and maybe some mediums like this floor. Alright, one special video, is it? 3, 2, 1, thumbs up! There you go. Thank you very much, members of the media. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. And as we clear the stage, a small presentation is in order. To our participants, to our partners and sponsors, let's be proud for today. Welcome to the inaugural Malaysia Digital Association E-Conference 2023. Explore the emergence of digital trends and strategies for the future. This is why we're here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's on to the first keynote presentation. Now, the buzzword for the last few years has been IR 4.0, IR 4.0 here, IR 4.0 there. Now, it's the certain aspects of this industrial revolution that has taken the world by storm, truly captivating us. It's the rise of AI. As I said earlier, I might be out of a job. Fly FM has designed Aina Sabrina. Yeah? It had to be female lah. Yeah? Why, bro? Oh, next one coming out already. Yeah, next one TV presenter, and then event presenter, and then there will be high, people not working lah. We all need to work, okay? But
Okay. Ya, Alhamdulillah. Pagi ni saya hadir di program D Conference 2023 yang dianjurkan oleh Malaysian Digital Association. Ini adalah program conference pertama oleh badan yang bantu beberapa aspek, terutama dari segi marketing dan juga mengenali trend-trend terkini terbaru dalam dunia digital. Ini adalah satu program yang baik yang memberi sedikit maklumat terkini tentang beberapa pencapaian dan juga kemajuan dalam bidang ekonomi digital dan teknologi digital seperti AI, data sharing dan banyak aspek ya melibatkan teknologi digital dan juga ekonomi digital. Dan saya percaya program seperti ini sepatutnya dan seharusnya kita rancakkan kerana perkembangan dalam dunia digital ini berlaku dengan begitu pantas sekali, yang mana maklumat ataupun perkara yang kita ketahui bulan lalu mungkin by bulan depan ada benda yang lebih baru yang muncul. Jadi saya sangat gembira dapat bersama dalam program pada hari ini.
Tadi dalam speech warga disebut tentang roadmap MDEC untuk digital capability 2019.
Sewaktu saya dan MDEC berada di London Tech Week dan mengadakan perbincangan dengan pelabur-pelabur dan juga beberapa organisasi seperti British Malaysian Chamber of Commerce, UK ASEAN Business Council dan beberapa pihak yang lain, saya lihat ada peluang untuk kita memikirkan hubungan Malaysia dan UK dalam satu konteks yang baru. UK akan menandatangani CPTPP pada bulan Julai ini dan ratifikasi tidak lama selepas itu. Ini membolehkan Malaysia dan United Kingdom mengadakan hubungan dua hala dari segi perdagangan. Dan dalam bidang ekonomi digital, saya lihat ada satu ruang yang boleh kita manfaatkan kerana UK merupakan negara ketiga selepas Amerika Syarikat dan China dari segi inovasi dan penghasilan unicorn. Manakala Malaysia merupakan sebuah negara yang semakin kompetitif dari segi sama ada sewaan bangunan, prasarana yang disediakan, talent yang kita ada yang mudah berbahasa Inggeris dan juga pelbagai bahasa yang lain, maka saya lihat Malaysia boleh menjadi hub bagi syarikat-syarikat teknologi yang mungkin lahir di United Kingdom untuk mereka bertapak dan melebarkan sayap. Bertapak di Malaysia dan melebarkan sayap ke rantau Asia Tenggara. Ini kerana kalau kita lihat baru-baru ini juga dalam media ada kita baca laporan bagaimana Malaysia berada di tangga ke-27 dari segi World Competitiveness Index, dan ini adalah satu peningkatan 5 anak tangga, meletakkan Malaysia sebagai negara di rantau Asia Tenggara yang kedua paling kompetitif selepas Singapura. Dan bila kita faham juga banyak daripada pelaburan yang masuk ke negara kita sekarang bersifat data center, jumlah dia sangat besar, bermaksud banyak daripada pelabur-pelabur melihat Malaysia sebagai satu destinasi yang selamat dan mereka yakin tentang dasar kerajaan, dan ini memungkinkan Malaysia menjadi seperti yang saya sebut tadi satu hub digital bagi syarikat-syarikat luar khusus dari United Kingdom contohnya, dan boleh saya percaya menjadikan Malaysia sebagai gateway kepada Asia Tenggara dan insya-Allah ke Asia, rantau Asia yang lebih luas. Ini yang saya sebut dalam ucapan tadi. Kalau dulu slogan kita untuk tourism Malaysia ialah Malaysia truly Asia, mungkin satu slogan bagi Malaysia digital ya yang saya nak lontarkan ialah Malaysia through to Asia. Dan saya yakin sekiranya kita mampu melengkapkan beberapa undang-undang baru termasuk pindaan kepada Akta Perlindungan Data Pribadi serta undang-undang Omnibus Perlindungan Data, dan sekiranya di peringkat ASEAN kita dapat mengusahakan satu protokol on data sharing and data sovereignty yang membolehkan lebih banyak negara ASEAN mewujudkan undang-undang memudahkan dan membolehkan data di data sharing antara negara-negara ASEAN. Ini bagi saya akan melengkapkan ekosistem ekonomi digital bukan hanya bagi Malaysia tapi ASEAN, memungkinkan satu dekad keemasan untuk Malaysia dan secara langsung menjadikan Malaysia sebagai ASEAN. Ini adalah harapan kementerian dan iltizam kerajaan, kerana kita lihat dan kita percaya ekonomi digital akan mainkan peranan yang lebih besar dalam pertumbuhan ekonomi bagi negara kita dalam masa yang tidak lama lagi. Thank you. Terima kasih.